If I told you that a single spoonful before bed could help stop your muscles quietly fading overnight, would you believe me? It sounds almost too simple. Yet nighttime is when the body does its real engineering, if you give it the right materials at the right moment. I'm Dr. Robert Ellis. I've spent more than 3 decades working with older adults across the United States, from frosty mornings in Boston to sun-baked afternoons in Phoenix. And here's one lesson I've learned over and over. Age isn't a thief, it's a stern coach. If we listen carefully and support the body kindly, it often gives back more than we expect. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Lately, do you pause at the edge of the bed before standing as if your legs are negotiating the terms? Do your arms feel heavier lifting a pan, your steps a touch unsteady on that first trip to the kitchen? Many people sigh, "I'm just getting old," and move on. But in my clinic, I see another story. A simple, fixable chain reaction that often begins during the hours we think about least, the hours when we're asleep. Sleep isn't a switch that just turns the world off. It's a night shift, a repair crew that clock in quietly while the city sleeps. Deep sleep is when your body patches tiny tears in muscle fibers, releases growth hormone, rebuilds tissue. But here's the catch. The crew can't do quality work if the lorry never delivers bricks and mortar. Run out of amino acids at 2 a.m., and the body sometimes borrows from your own muscle to get the job done. That's how we can sleep through the night and wake weaker. The good news? You don't need a cupboard full of expensive powders or a radical diet overhaul. You need a tiny, gentle ritual before bed, just enough to send a clear message to the body. Here's your signal to rest, and here are your supplies to rebuild. Tonight, I'll show you 4 humble foods: kiwi, an egg, pumpkin seeds, and cottage cheese that quietly support better sleep and steadier strength in the morning. Simple, natural, easy on the stomach, and surprisingly effective. If you're over 60, or if you love someone who is, stay with me. And while you're here, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the small, game-changing habits we share each week. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Our community stretches from Maine to Maui, and your voice helps someone out there feel less alone. Let's start with a little thought that might surprise you. After 60, your body becomes less responsive to the same old dose of protein. The signal to build muscle, what we call the anabolic response, gets a bit hard of hearing. That means timing and quality matter as much as quantity. 1 egg still contains about 6 grams of protein, but the difference after 60 is how clearly your muscles hear that protein saying, "Time to rebuild." I want to take you back to a quiet exam room in North Carolina. John, a retired mechanic, 70 years old, sat across from me and said, "Doc, I fall asleep just fine, but at 2 or 3 a.m., I'm wide awake, staring at the ceiling. And mornings? My calves feel like they've been marching uphill." We didn't reach for pills. We reached for fruit. 2 kiwi, peeled and eaten about an hour before bed. No other changes. After 4 or 5 nights, he noticed he wasn't just drifting off, he was staying asleep. 2 weeks in, he said, "I'm not perching at the edge of the mattress anymore. I just stand up and go." That's not magic. That's biology supported at the right time. Why does something as simple as kiwi help? Kiwi contains a natural whisper of melatonin, the hormone your brain uses to say, "Lights down, please." It doesn't bulldoze you into sleep. It dims the room gently. And when you slide into deeper sleep, that's when muscle repair starts in earnest. Kiwi is also rich in vitamin C and E, antioxidants that mop up the small-scale wear and tear that makes you feel rusty in the morning. Add a dose of potassium, and you have a quiet ally against those surprise calf cramps that strike at 1 a.m. For most people, 2 ripe kiwi about an hour before bed can act like a soft door closing on the day and a soft door opening into repair. Have you ever tried a pre-bed kiwi ritual? If you have, tell me how it felt. If you haven't, give it 7 nights. Make it a small ceremony. Sit with the fruit, dim the lights, breathe out slowly. It's not only the nutrients that help, it's the message you send yourself. We rest now, and we heal now. Now let's talk about an old friend that tends to show up at breakfast and then gets sent home by supper: the egg. The egg is a compact parcel of what your body recognizes as complete protein. All the amino acids you need in a package that's hard to beat. One in particular matters more as we age: leucine. Think of leucine as the foreman who shouts, "Right then, let's build." Without that clear shout, the night crew can dawdle. A single egg gives you roughly 600 milligrams of leucine, and for an evening snack after a light dinner, that small nudge could be just enough to turn the lights on in the repair shop. I remember Walter, 68, from Minnesota, frowning at me. "Doc, I've avoided eggs for years." "Cholesterol." I nodded. Health advice evolves, and the modern evidence suggests that for most people, one egg a day doesn't raise the risk of heart disease. In some, it can nudge HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, upwards. It's the bigger picture that matters: how you cook it and what else is going on in your diet and day. We added one soft-boiled egg to his evening. No butter bath, no heavy salt, just a gentle cook in water or a soft scramble with a touch of olive oil. 3 weeks later, he told me, "I'm not trying to grow biceps here, but I'm fastening buttons without shaking, and I stand up from my chair in one move." To me, that's muscle returning to everyday life. That's function. That's dignity. Eggs bring more than protein. They carry vitamin D, which many older adults lack, especially if you spend less time in the sun, and choline, which supports the brain and the nervous system that orchestrate every tiny movement we make. If your doctor has given you specific limits because of your health history, follow those. But if not, a softly cooked egg about an hour before bed can be a gentle way to whisper to your muscles, "You're covered for the night." Have you ever climbed into bed and felt like your muscles are still gripping a fist you can't unclench? That's how Sam, 72, a retired long-haul driver from Texas, described it. "I go to bed with the engine still running." That's when we reach for pumpkin seeds, small, unassuming, tucked away at the back of the pantry. An ounce, a small handful, carries around 37% of your day's magnesium. Magnesium helps muscles to let go, to release that invisible fist. Pumpkin seeds also carry tryptophan, the raw material your body uses to make serotonin and melatonin. Together, magnesium and tryptophan lower the house lights and ease the curtain down. I asked Sam to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of unsalted pumpkin seeds before bed. He sprinkled them over plain Greek yogurt. You might eat them as they are, lightly toasted or stirred into something soft. 2 weeks later, he said, "The engine switches off now. And in the morning, my calves don't sulk." That's what we want. The engine off, the mechanics at work. A quick word of practicality. Seeds and nuts are energy dense. That isn't a warning label. It's a reminder to treat them like a tool, not a treat. 1 or 2 tablespoons is plenty. If chewing is tough, a brief soak or a gentle blitz in a grinder makes them kinder to your teeth. Now to the most modest hero of the night: cottage cheese. No glamour, no marketing halo, often passed over on the dairy aisle. But inside that tub is casein, a slow-digesting protein that acts like an overnight drip, feeding your muscles in a steady, calm stream. Where fast proteins rush in and fade, casein lingers. And that's exactly what a sleeping body needs. Not a flood, not a famine, but a quiet river. Linda, 76, from Florida, told me, "I hate waking up feeling like my limbs are old elastic bands." We tried something almost laughably simple. Half a cup of low-fat, low-sodium cottage cheese, eaten unhurriedly 45 to 60 minutes before lights out. A sprinkle of cinnamon if she fancied it. A few slices of kiwi if she want a lift. After a fortnight, she said, "It's like I took out a little insurance policy for the night." That's a perfect description. When casein trickles amino acids through the small hours, your body doesn't need to dismantle your own muscle to make up the shortfall. Night becomes a time to build, not to break down. If you keep an eye on blood sugar, there's more good news. Plain low-fat cottage cheese is low in carbohydrates. It won't send your glucose on a roller coaster. It's calm, like the night should be. Let's pull the curtain back on the science for a moment. Simply, no white coats required. Muscle is built from protein, but not all protein signals equally. Leucine is a switch. Flip it, and your body here starts synthesizing. Past 60, that switch needs a clearer press. The wiring's a touch stiff. That's why leucine-rich, high-quality proteins, like eggs, matter more. And timing? Crucial. Deep sleep is your golden window. Growth hormone is on duty then. Give the crew materials just before they clock in and they get to work. Leave them hungry and they idle. Or worse, they repurpose your own stockpile. Each of our 4 foods plays a part in this nighttime play. Kiwi hums the overture, a natural nudge towards sleep. The egg fires the starting gun, leucine's clear command to build. Pumpkin seeds dim the house lights, magnesium easing the grip, tryptophan setting the stage. Cottage cheese keeps the delivery lorries coming until dawn. Casein's slow, steady supply. It's not a miracle. It's a choreography. Now let me ask you something plainly. Do you ever find yourself awake at 2:37 a.m. for no good reason, thinking about the roof or that awkward conversation from last week? Do you ever pause at the edge of the bed in the morning, steadying yourself on the mattress, as if you're negotiating a truce with your knees? Have you ever been ambushed by a calf cramp so sudden you'd swear a bolt of lightning hit the room? If you've nodded yes to any of that, be honest. Is your evening empty or is it prepared? You don't need much. 2 kiwi or a soft-boiled egg or a small handful of pumpkin seeds or a few spoonfuls of cottage cheese. Offer your body a signal and the materials. Then watch what happens. By the way, if this conversation is speaking to you, tap like. It helps the algorithm. It helps this message find the next person whose mornings have been slippery lately. And leave me a comment that simply says, "Tonight, I'm trying underscore. I read as many as I can within the first day, and I do my best to reply. Let me share a couple of moments from the clinic that touched me. Marjorie, 81, a former teacher with a laugh that fills a room, had begun to dread the single step outside her front door. "My knees betray me," she whispered. "We did not start with the gym. We started with the night. Kiwi and cottage cheese." 3 weeks later, she told me, in a voice careful as if not to break something fragile, "I forgot to worry about the step today. I just did it. Not a miracle. A night used properly." Then there was Rick, 66, who had spent years skipping supper because he was afraid of weight gain. "Rick," I said, "it's not always about eating less. It's about eating smarter." We added 1 poached egg before bed. His weight held steady. But he loaded his toolbox into the truck the next week and said, "Doc, my hands weren't trembling." That's what we're chasing, the return of ease. Food is the seed. But even seeds want soil. These small nighttime choices do their best work when the room cooperates. So let the lights be warm and low. Put your phone to bed before you put yourself to bed. A page or 2 of a book. A few slow breaths. A cooler room. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. A few practical questions come up often. If you're managing your blood sugar, can you still eat kiwi? For many, yes, kiwi has a low glycemic index, and 2 for an hour before bed is usually gentle. Watch your personal readings if you monitor them. Lactose not your friend? Some people who are mildly intolerant still tolerate a small serving of cottage cheese. If not, lean into the egg or the seeds. Worried about cholesterol in eggs? The current evidence suggests that 1 egg per day is safe for most. Follow your own doctor's advice if you have specific instructions. Love salted seeds? They're delicious, I know, but salt before bed isn't ideal if you're watching blood pressure. Choose unsalted or toast your own. That if you remember only one thing from tonight, let it be this. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, gently and consistently. Night is the body's repair shift. Offer it a cue to start and a small supply of materials. Kiwi egg, pumpkin seeds, cottage cheese. 4 ordinary companions that stand quietly by your bedside and help you wake a little steadier. If this message feels like exactly what a friend or a parent needs to hear, share it. And subscribe if you'd like me in your corner each week, reminding you that small things done at the right time change how you feel in the morning. Next week, we're going to wake balance and hips in 5 minutes before breakfast. No equipment, just you and the floor. You won't miss it. Let's set a tiny challenge together. For the next 7 nights, choose one of the 4. 2 kiwi, or 1 soft egg, or a tablespoon or 2 of pumpkin seeds, or a few spoonfuls of cottage cheese. Sit at the table. Turn the television off for 10 minutes. Let the room be quiet. Chew slowly. Breathe out longer than you breathe in. In the morning, before your feet touch the floor, notice the first move. Do you reach for the mattress? Do your calves complain? Or do they say nothing at all? Jot it down on a small card by the bed. Repeat for a week. Most people are startled by how quickly a faint line becomes a clear pattern. 7 nights multiplied by 10 quiet minutes is 70 minutes. Just over an hour in 1 week. You are undoubtedly worth that hour. I meet many people who think getting stronger at this stage means a fight. More grit, more grind, more strain. I'm not convinced. I think it's about kindness. The quiet strength of looking after yourself on purpose. Choosing the right mouthful at the right time. Repeating it. Not to be perfect, to be steady. If a single sentence or a small idea in this video nudged you towards that kind of steady, tell me in the comments. Tonight I'm trying underscore before bed. I'll be there reading, replying, and cheering you on. You are not just getting old. You're changing shape. And in this new shape, your muscles can still be loyal to you if tonight you treat them well. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll see you tomorrow morning in spirit when you stand up a touch more easily and take that first step with a little more confidence. And I'll see you here next week with another small habit that makes a big difference.